Good evening. My name is Vanessa Edmond, the owner of the I Be Doggone Food Truck and School Creation and Installation, and I'm here
Danny Vandermolen.
with Jackson Endeavors. Mr. Vandermolen, it is so good to be here with you today. Can you tell us exactly what is Jackson Endeavors? And give us a little insight on it and tell us why it's important that we partner with Jackson Endeavors. Because New Horizon Church International is very excited to partner with Jackson Endeavors. So let's talk about it.
Be glad to. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Jackson Endeavors is an effort in around the globe to try to, in a faith-based arena, be able to alleviate poverty through business with business.
Okay, so what you're doing is you are connecting with people that have businesses in areas, in low-income areas, correct? And you have a design to help us to strengthen those areas where we will end up, the businesses will be more, lucrative, and the people in that area, they will be able to have jobs, correct?
That's correct.
All right.
So the effort here is to inspire people to follow their calling, their spiritual calling into business.
Okay.
And what business will do is allow for redemptive work to happen, both with the business owner, the people that they employ, and then reach out farther into the community.
So I read somewhere where you all have what you call innovative solutions that lead to growth and success. Can you just kind of touch on what is the innovative growth, the innovative solutions that you all have? I know that you all are nationwide, correct?
We are global.
You are global. Oh my goodness. So you are global. So what is the farthest you've been with Jackson Endeavors?
So Jackson Endeavors is actually part of a network called Partners Worldwide.
Okay.
Partners Worldwide actually operates in about 38 different countries. And so they establish what they call local community institutions, or LCIs.
Mm-hmm.
And what those LCIs is basically the ground zero of what happens with the greater enterprise of Partners Worldwide. And so we are kind of the hands and feet of what happens in the community as it relates to training, mentoring, and just establishing relationships in the faith community, and allowing people to understand their calling. And so often we are co-creators with God, in that God created the world, and He created everything in it.
That's right.
We are co-creators in that, and so we have the ability to be able to understand who we are, why are we here, what is our purpose in life, and that we can create things not out of nothing like God did, but we can create things in a way that can develop enterprise. So often, many of us have got a hobby. Hobbies is one of those things that you kind of learn to do, you love to do, but you really don't make any money with it.
Mm-hmm.
A skill is another one of those ways that when we go to school, we get educated, we maybe go to vocational school, or we go to a four-year school, or maybe we go straight into the workforce.
Okay.
And what that workforce does is gives us the skills of a trade.
Right.
That we can,
the proper training we need to be successful.
that's right.
Mhm.
You can learn the trade. And the way I describe it is that so often many of us, that world's not big enough. I don't want to just be a carpenter, or I don't want to be just a plumber or an electrician or a mechanic. I want to run my own shop.
Yes.
I want to lead a crew and build a house, or build somebody a garage or a deck.
Yes.
And or even maybe do landscape work. And what that does is that allows you to build up a business that it can flourish.
Mm-hmm.
It can hire people that helps sustain their family.
Right.
And in that way, a community can grow, your family can grow, and oftentimes you can build wealth for retirement, for giving back to the community, or even doing generational Well,
Generational wealth.
that's right.
So I hear planting the seed,
Mm-hmm.
watering it,
Mm-hmm.
and watching it grow.
Right.
I heard that. I gathered that from what you just said. So in our communities, we are to get out there and make sure that it functions. One of the things that I see when I'm driving through Jackson is a lot of blight. I see a lot of, trash on the street. I see a lot of different things. And I'm like, how can we expect people to move and to live a conducive life in society when they come home or they're riding down the street and there's paper everywhere? If our businesses function and the people in the community, and we get out on Saturdays or whenever we have time and we pull the businesses out and say, hey, I understand that your lot looks good, but the lot next to you has paper and trash. Let's clean that up and let's get that together. And then you'd have people to feel better about themselves, with, making sure that the whole community as a whole is oiled and working, right? And I'm excited about some of the things because I read the website. And I want to encourage people to get into the training, right? I want to encourage them to be mentored. And I remember as we had a conversation earlier on, you were telling me that you have this, in the training, at the end of the training, you all do a pitch. I like that. Because I'm a talker, okay? So let's talk a little bit about partnerships, training, and how you all mentor us. So how does that work? How do you sign up for that? Where would we be? Because I know New Horizon Church International, we have the Business Builders Network. And I'm one of the leads for that, my husband and I. So what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for New Horizon to come on in here and let's get this training. Let's partner with Jackson Endeavors and let's be mentored so that our businesses can flourish. Let's talk about the partnership, the training, and the mentoring.
I think we could go all the way back to just this idea of you give a man a fish, what happens? He eats for a day. You teach a man to fish,
and hey,
he can eat for a lifetime.
A lifetime, that's correct.
But I think what we try to do in this business development is how you get people to understand, how do I own the pond? And that way, we own the pond. We can feed many, we can capitalize on the pond. We can't just fish the pond, we gotta restock the pond.
We just did that.
We gotta invest in that pond.
2, 1.
Okay, Mr. Vandermolen, so what is Jackson Endeavors and what is its training like? And can we talk a little bit about that? And what are we going to accomplish when we come and be a part of this training and get this good mentorship that you all have going on? Can we talk a little bit about the training?
Yeah, well, that's a good question.
Okay.
Jackson Endeavors is actually a 501c3.
Okay.
So it's a nonprofit organization that works with an operating board, and primarily what we do is we set up training events within the faith community, and that the curriculum is set so that there's 5 evenings of training, not days, but 5 evenings of training. So you can go to work and come in after, say, 5:30 in the evening for 2.5 hours.
Okay.
And we're going to talk about what your vision is. And so we think about that like a tree. And we know that in God's creation, there is all kinds of trees. There's hundreds, there's thousands of different kinds of trees.
Right.
They all have a purpose.
Absolutely.
And they all have their own design. And so we think about that tree as being the idea or the vision.
Mm-hmm.
Every tree, pretty much all trees, not all trees, but most trees start with a seed or an acorn.
Okay.
And that acorn or that seed is the idea.
Okay.
That is the idea that God has placed on your heart and on your mind to say, you know what, I think I want to develop this into a business. Well, so that seed then is that idea. So it needs to be nurtured.
Yes.
And worked with. But that seed has to has to set in
And
in
good soil.
And what does the soil represent? The soil represents your community.
Yes.
That's the place where you're going to operate. And so is the community needing that solution? Because basically a business is something that solves a problem.
Right.
And you happen to have a solution that identifies that problem that you can that you can capitalize on. And so we think about the seed as being that idea that you're going to plant in the soil. The soil then is the community. Well, is your community, what's the demographics of the community? What are the resources of the community? Is the community hungry for this idea? Has somebody already done that? Has somebody already done this?
Right.
And so that soil is a really, really important part. So we spend an evening talking about
Okay.
what that seed is going to be like, but then also what is the soil going to be like?
Right.
Well, then you're going to get that seed is going to turn into a plant.
Okay.
That plant is going to start to grow. Well, you need to protect that plant. You need to test it. You need to make sure that it's planted up straight. You need to make sure that it's got plenty of sunshine. You have to make sure that it's getting watered in the way that it needs to be.
Right.
And so that plant needs to grow and develop, and then one day that plant or that tree will start to produce fruit, or it might produce nuts, or it
right.
might produce flowers, or
Right.
it might produce shade, or it
might produce other trees or other plants.
or it
That's
might
right.
produce lumber.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And so, which we do a lot in Mississippi. We have a lot of trees that are grown to support the building trade.
Right.
And so there's a lot of things that businesses can be started with when you have that idea, and it's the right idea. And one of the things that we do is we kind of think about it like, I need to put a plan, and it needs to be on paper. And that's the best way to start a business. That's actually the best way to fail.
That's in the Bible.
Yeah, but it's also a great way
to make it plain.
It's also a great way to fail a business.
Yeah.
Before you invest $10,000 in a business and decide, oh well, this is not going to work. And so it's kind of one of those things where a good plan, we can help with giving you some structure in doing that. Well, then ultimately you want it to grow. A tree must grow. If a tree doesn't grow, if a lot of little oak trees are growing in our yard now, and those oak trees will eventually die because they're too much shade, right? Because they're under a tree. And so we need to make sure that those trees grow, that idea grows, and you're able to harvest some of that. And so, yeah, so we'll spend a night getting to know each other. We spend 5
that's
nights.
our icebreaker night.
That's right, the icebreaker night, and then we'll do 5 nights of working through the curriculum.
Okay.
And then we're going to finish with a pitch night. And
So what I'm hearing you say is we will have books, curriculum. Is there a cost for the materials?
we have $150 for the curriculum.
Okay, $150
Yeah,
for
so
the curriculum.
you'll-
These are things that we need to know.
Right.
So the curriculum is $150. Okay. All
Yeah.
right.
And the training and everything goes along with it. And at some point after we complete the class, then we'll look at having a few nights of mentoring.
Okay.
And so how do we continue? Because business is learning.
It is.
Business is very much a learning opportunity to grow and learn and constantly learn.
You should never be too comfortable.
That's right, a better way to do it. And it's one of the ways that I've been in business for nearly 40 years. And I started with nothing here.
Okay.
And we learned and we learned and we learned and we made mistakes and we learned some more and we made more mistakes. But
Yes.
ultimately, we have a family transitional business, And that's, I think it's something I'm very proud of.
Generational wealth, Mr. Van Molen, that's what it is, generational wealth. And you passed it along.
You passed it
We
along.
talked about that.
Yeah.
You passed that along to your son, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The operation of the business.
The
that's
operation
right.
of the business,
Yeah.
yes.
And so what they're able to do is we're able to secure employment for employees, because that's the best way to transition a business,
That's
I
right.
believe. We have customers that are invested in the equipment that we sell.
Okay.
And so they can keep on doing their jobs
Mhm.
and supporting their community. And so I think it's just one of the things that if we learn to do it, we have good living principles that are instilled in that, but great business principles.
Absolutely.
And I actually believe that if we can learn how to do business with each other, we can support this community in a way that's never been done.
Oh,
Or it
yes.
hasn't been done in a long time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So with that training, and the mentoring, then once we, go through the proper training, we get the mentorship that we need.
Mhm.
Questions will be asked. I'm quite sure someone will be there to make sure that, that we get whatever it is that we're asking. The questions will be answered. The pitch night. And then I saw, Rogers, I saw someone on your page, they got a certificate. So it's a certification comes behind that.
It's a
It's a vote, yeah.
vote of confidence.
Vote of
That's right.
confidence.
That's
And,
right.
and you know what? Some people just don't understand what just the certificate of completion means.
Mhm.
It means that you took the time to invest in yourself, your business, and your community with wrapping this up, with going through this particular, workshop that is about to take place. And I'm excited about it.
Jackson Endeavors will enlighten you in a way that you haven't maybe seen business before. Maybe business was always a little bit out of reach. But this is a practical way of learning and learning together with people that are not college professors, but we are basically business people that have really learned things in a way that makes it very practical, in that you start with something that is maybe undervalued, and you basically bring value to your calling into business. And so it's one of the things where you will find yourself increased value to your family, to your children, to your home, and to your community, and even to your church family in a way that maybe you hadn't looked at it before.
And I would like to encourage each and every one of you to join the New Horizon Church International Business Builders Network, where we're going to partner, and we have partnered with Jackson Endeavors. You all come out and be a part of something great. Everybody needs to do continuous education when it comes to something. We don't all know everything. So come out and get this good education and strengthen your business. And with that being said, may the Lord bless you.
Could I add one more thing? We have seen people that have said, my idea is not going to work, and they find that early in the class. We have found others that really kind of identified what they want to do, and when it came time for the pitch night to really sell the idea, we've seen people that have gone through the program. When it came to pitch night, they were scared to death, but they had enough confidence in themselves that they shone. They shined in their delivery. So what you'll learn is that a good elevator speech is a great way to learn who you are and what service you offer. And it's a great way to sell your business, but also a great way to sell yourself.
All right. Sounds good. Well, with that being said, you all come out and join us. You're going to be in for a treat. Blessings to all. Thank you.